An America Close Up. Tonight, a last chance for violent youth offenders.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Sitting in tonight is Stone Phillips.
Good evening. Death and taxes. In Washington today, those eternal preoccupations gave way to a slight variation in theme: health and taxes. From Hillary Rodham Clinton, a passionate appeal for the president's health care reform package. The First Lady laid out her ideas and laid into the health care industry for what she called unconscionable profiteering. Here's NBC's Robert Hager.
We have to.
As Mrs. Clinton addressed health care workers, a tentative outline of the plan emerged. Coverage would be broad: 100% of hospitalization, 75% of doctor visits, 100% of preventive treatments, 60 to 80% of drug expenses. But patients would be asked to pay more out of their own pockets than under most of today's insurance plans. Deductibles, what patients pay before insurance kicks in, would amount to $200 a year, plus an additional $250 for hospital stays, and an added $50 for drugs. And coverage for prescriptions and some long-term care might be phased in more slowly than other parts of the plan. The First Lady asked for help.
Talk to your friends and neighbors about what you see every day in terms of price gouging, cost shifting, unconscionable profiteering. Explain how you see the system that is being gamed and ripped off because it has no real discipline, no budget, no controls.
There are still key issues left undecided, and how to control costs is one of them. Mandatory controls or voluntary. Whether to permit big companies to keep their present insurance arrangements, and how to finance all this through a payroll tax, 7% for employers, 2% for employees. In addition, sin taxes on cigarettes and maybe alcohol, and extra taxes on providers, hospitals, and pharmaceuticals.
Big decisions yet to be made. But with the administration now fighting for its economic plan in Congress, further meetings on health care have been put off at least until next week. And the administration may have trouble meeting its already delayed target for announcing health care proposals second or third week in June. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
It was supposed to be a sure victory for a president who was supposed to end the gridlock in Washington. But right now, nothing about tomorrow's House vote on the budget is certain. The compromising continues, the White House hoping to avoid the one thing it can least afford: another come-from-behind defeat. Here's NBC's Lisa Myers.
The president walked a tightrope today, trying to round up critical votes for his deficit reduction plan from both wings of his party.
Shows that the more people know about the details of the package, the more likely they are to support it.
He seemed to win over the liberal Black Caucus.
All of us can find something we don't like about it, but we've got to find some way to bring action to the mess that this nation is in.
But the Black Caucus threatened to bolt if the president went too far to cut a deal with moderate and conservative Democrats. Negotiations with that faction continued all day at the Capitol, but an agreement remained elusive on conservative efforts to rein in so-called entitlement programs like Medicare and Medicaid. Meanwhile, to nail down a few more votes, the full House moved toward approval of a $900 million mini stimulus package demanded by liberals. It includes money for summer jobs, police, and 2 pet congressional projects. For Representative Maxine Waters of Los Angeles, there is $80 million for a teenage jobs program, with a teenager defined as anyone under 30. For Representatives Martin Frost and Pete Guerin of Texas, $11.8 million was restored for a project at the Fort Worth stockyards.
$11.8 million for the Fort Worth stockyards? Does that sound a little like pork? Well, maybe not pork, maybe just cow.
Democratic leaders predict the president will win tomorrow by a whisker.
This is the biggest deficit reduction program in the history of the country. It is the hardest vote you'll ever have people to take here.
This is a test of whether we can govern. I believe we're going to meet that test.
But tonight, Democratic leaders still don't have the votes to pass this bill. They are appealing for Democrats not to do in their own president, arguing that a defeat for Clinton now would be political calamity. Lisa Myers, NBC News, the Capitol.
From the budget to Bosnia, from the haircut to the cuts made at the White House travel office, President Clinton has been besieged with criticism lately. But the most scathing assessment comes from a former rival, with a following Bill Clinton can't ignore. More from NBC's Andrea Mitchell.
He's back again. As if Bill Clinton didn't have enough trouble, Ross Perot dumped all over him in an interview with David Frost to be aired Friday on PBS.
But what we have here is a person who does not have the background or experience for the most difficult job in the world, which we, the American people, have elected him to fill. If you were interviewing him for your company, and you had a medium-sized company, you wouldn't consider giving him a job anywhere above middle management.
The president, surrounded by top corporate executives, refused to rise to the bait.
How do you deal with this?
You deal with it.
Perot also accused Clinton of cronyism over the travel office mess.
He's still doing things the Arkansas way, like trying to give the travel business as a political payoff. See, now that's just straight out of Arkansas. Now, he's learned the hard way you can't do that. Then bringing your cousin in and bringing the travel agency in that bailed you out when you were broke in your campaign. That's fine in Arkansas.
Well, we know he doesn't like my state, but he spent several $1 million to badmouth it last year, but that doesn't have much to do with America. We're going to just keep working.
In fact, Perot drives the president crazy. He's criticized Clinton's economic plan, and he's more popular than Clinton in the latest polls. Today's interview was only the first shot in a new Perot media blitz. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News at the White House.
When Nightly News continues, Batman gets a makeover. Being a superhero just isn't what it used to be.
Childhood is a magical time. A time of wonder and surprises, laughter and dreams. At Anheuser-Busch, we believe every child should experience it all. That's why we support the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Because there's nothing better than helping kids just be kids. The Anheuser-Busch Companies, glad to be your neighbor, proud to be your friend.
January, he was Mr. Right. February, Mr. Wrong. March, he's back. There's only one calling plan that adjusts with you. Off again, on again, never again. It's the Most from Sprint. The Most saves you up to 36% each month on whomever you call the most, automatically. Could be the easiest part of your relationship.
Still more health news tonight about the controversial French abortion pill RU486. It's about to be clinically tested on 2,000 American women. Scientists now say there is a less complicated way to use it. NBC Science correspondent Robert Bazell.
The latest results from the laboratory in Paris where the abortion pill was developed indicate that it may be far easier to use. Along with RU486, women had been getting an injection of a powerful hormone.
Until now it was an injectable, now it's given by mouth, an oral prostaglandin.
The oral prostaglandin can be taken in the privacy of a woman's home, eliminating the need for a visit to the doctor's office. Also, the drug, called Cytotec, is already approved for use in the U.S. as an ulcer treatment. Anti-abortion groups are not happy with this latest discovery.
There's a stronger likelihood if Cytotec is used with RU46 that there would be a broader use of abortion as a method of birth control.
What do you want? Choice! When do you want it? Now!
Many people believe approval of RU486 could blunt some power of the anti-abortion movement. An editorial in the New England Journal of Medicine, which carries the French results, points out that for anti-abortion groups, it will be much more difficult to target individual doctors' offices than to target the much more visible abortion clinics. People working to get RU486 approved say that even without the oral prostaglandin, it has worked well in France.
It's popular in France. It's very successful. It's liked by women. It's liked by the doctors who use it.
Eventual FDA approval seems certain.
If there is a safe and effective medical alternative to surgical abortion, then it should be made available to American women.
Tests of RU486 in this country are expected to begin within a few months, and FDA approval could come within 2 years. Robert Bazell, NBC News, New York.
In an Indianapolis hospital tonight, mother and sextuplets doing well. Meet the Dilly Bunch. 4 boys, 2 girls, born yesterday, 9 weeks premature. Becky Dilly had taken a fertility drug. Sextuplets, of course, extremely rare. With the Dillys, only 7 surviving sets in the world. Health insurance. Tonight, a story about a religious society that's getting into the business in a most unusual way. NBC's Dawn Fratangelo reports from Barberton, Ohio.
Every day, the letters arrive by the hundreds from people who can't pay their medical bills.
Dear Christian Brotherhood, I have been having stomach pain and pain in my side.
Dear sirs, my wife, Michelle, recently had our 6th son.
They write to the Christian Brotherhood newsletter for help.
Nothing was being done across the country on a wholesale basis. So all we've done is cross state lines, cross denominational lines, threw in a computer, and we're doing what Christians have traditionally done for years.
Reverend Bruce Hawthorne began the newsletter 12 years ago with only 50 subscribers. Now there are 22,000. Each month, the newsletter publishes the various medical needs of subscribers. Every member is assigned a specific patient and sends a payment of $50 to $150 directly to the person in need. It sounds a lot like insurance, but the newsletter membership form says this is not an insurance contract.
This is built on love and faith. If you don't have faith, it will not work. There is no guarantee. It's a faith-oriented program.
The mailbox was full every day.
It worked for Ruth Baum, who dropped her health insurance when she joined the newsletter. A year later, she needed $53,000 to pay for a heart condition.
The Lord really supplied the need, and it came in to help us when we needed it.
It's a simple premise, needs being met by the goodwill of others. But 5 states don't think so. They consider the entire operation illegal and have banned the newsletter. Courts in Washington, North Dakota, and Wisconsin have ruled it should be regulated. Final decisions are pending in Maryland and Delaware. Delaware regulators point out, like a pyramid scheme, there are more claims being received by the Christian Brotherhood newsletter than the membership can pay. One investigator predicts whenever the CBN shuts down, it will leave remaining members holding the bag.
You don't want to lose twice. You don't want to pay money for coverage that isn't there when you need it.
Newsletter operators deny the charges. They're convinced they have a proven solution to the healthcare crisis. Regulators worry they're only creating a new one. Dawn Fratangelo, NBC News, Barberton, Ohio.
Another record-breaking day on Wall Street. Stock prices were pushed up after interest rates were pushed down. Trading today was very heavy.
Why did Hertz invent #1 Club Gold service? To beat the rush hour. See, every plane and everybody seems to land at once. But with Gold service, there's no stopping at the counters and no paperwork. Instead, you go nonstop to your waiting car with your name in lights. Only Hertz has #1 Club Gold. The best reason yet why Hertz beats the rush hour. To Hertz, the rest of the day is a piece of cake.
Dear Thompsons, I used Thompson's Water Seal waterproofer on my redwood furniture. My brother-in-law Louis used another brand on his redwood gates. After intense rain, my furniture was like new. His gates swelled shut. Thompson's has no match. Sincerely, Lowell Salzer.
Polyshades by Minwax. It's a stroke of genius. Polyshades is rich stain and polyurethane protection in one. Polyshades gives wood a beautiful protective finish in half the time. Polyshades by Minwax.
When you look at plastic, you know how it helps things stay fresh and safe and light and unbreakable and strong and easy to carry. But take another look. Plastic also saves energy because it helps make cars lighter to save gas. And plastic insulation helps save energy at home. Even these strong plastic bags help save energy because they take less energy to make than other grocery bags. To learn more, call this number for a free booklet. And take another look at plastic.
Overseas now, a German parliamentary vote tonight moved that country toward closing its doors to refugees. Germany has welcomed immigrants for decades, but the huge cost of reunification has cut that hospitality short. NBC's Keith Miller has details.
The controversy over who has the right to live in Germany erupted again on the streets today. Protesters sealed off the government district of Bonn. Members of government were forced to take a ferry to Parliament, including Chancellor Kohl. Others had to be choppered onto the grounds of Parliament. Inside, the debate was passionate, but those wanting to keep Europe's most liberal immigration law were in the minority. Many Germans have had enough. 2 million refugees have poured into the country since 1989. Outside, there was passion, too. An alliance of leftists, radicals, and the clergy labeled the law a return to fascism. Youths chanted SS out, foreigners in. Police reinforcements were called in when hundreds of protesters attempted to storm Parliament. The refugee issue has consumed Germany since its reunification. Last year, more than 500,000 refugees from the east poured across the border in search of a safer life. The ranks of neo-Nazi groups swelled in response, but even moderate Germans are alarmed by the influx. The refugees compete for jobs in a nation with high unemployment. And the government spent $6 billion last year to care for the new arrivals. Today's vote is just the first step toward limiting asylum to political refugees, but it did nothing to help defuse an issue that threatens the social peace of the nation. Keith Miller, NBC News, London.
In this country, a top government official told reporters yesterday that the Clinton administration planned to reduce America's role in the world to focus on the economy. Secretary of State Warren Christopher and others quickly distanced themselves from that remark. And John Chancellor is here now with commentary on the state of Clinton diplomacy. John?
Stone, the White House this week is suffering from a bad case of anxiety. As Stone said yesterday, a high-ranking State Department official said quite sensibly that the world has changed since the end of the Cold War. The United States now has less money and influence and therefore has to work cooperatively with its allies. A reasonable view of a new situation and certainly correct, but as Stone reported, it was quickly disavowed by anxious officials because it might have been misinterpreted as weakness in the Clinton administration's foreign policy. The White House said, on the contrary, in Bosnia, the United States has taken the lead from the beginning. The record doesn't show that. President Clinton wanted to bomb the Serbs, but the Allies wouldn't go along. He wanted to arm the Muslims, but the Allies wouldn't go along. The Serbs are unbombed and the Muslims unarmed today. Mr. Clinton was against the Vance-Owen plan and then for the Vance-Owen plan. The fact is that American policy in Bosnia has been uncertain and ineffective. That could have a dangerous ripple effect. The Middle East peace talks between Israel and the Arabs are still going on. The United States has to hold everybody's hand while the Israelis, the Palestinians, and the Syrians take risks for peace. American policy there must be steady and reassuring. But Washington's moves in the Bosnian crisis have not been reassuring. If the Middle East peace talks should break down, one of the reasons could be shaky American policies in Bosnia. Stone?
Thanks, John. We'll have more news in a moment when Nightly News continues.
If we had our way, no baby in this nation would ever be born too little to live or addicted to crack. Every toddler would be immunized against deadly disease, and no child would ever suffer a preventable injury. At Johnson & Johnson, our commitment to America's health goes beyond the products we make to include our active support of programs like these, so babies can get the healthy start on life that they deserve, and disadvantaged kids can get a head start, and parents can protect their children from accidents. America needs a healthcare system that invests in its future, one that emphasizes prevention and encourages individual responsibility. And it all begins here, with the children. At Johnson & Johnson, we believe keep the children well, and you can heal a nation.
Thank goodness we found you, because we'd never forgive ourselves if we let you miss this opportunity. You can now buy an Oldsmobile Achieva Special Edition with air, automatic anti-lock brakes, and more for only $14,695. Well, your neighbors certainly thought it was a good deal. It's your money.
Newsweek says Dave is delightful. Ivan Reitman's best comedy since Ghostbusters. Time magazine calls it winning. A funny movie. Kevin Kline, Sigourney Weaver, Dave, an Ivan Reitman film rated PG-13. Now playing at a theater near you.
You know, you don't have to be a pro to shop at Sherwin-Williams. In fact, they're having a do-it-yourself sale right now with Classic 99 interior flat at just $12.99. It ends June 26th. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you better get going.
Robert Kennedy, rarely seen photos and a talk with Ethel and Ted Kennedy reveal stories you may have never heard before. RFK, The Man and the Memories, Friday.
Now crime. Since 1980, the inmate population in this country has tripled. Today, more than 1 million Americans are behind bars. Many repeat offenders whose troubles started young. How do we turn kids around before it's too late? On America Close Up tonight, a program that's working. It's being called a last chance for young criminals. Here's NBC's Kinley Jones.
They don't look like Florida's most violent youthful offenders, but they are. 16-year-old Derek's story is typical.
I had some cases of strong arm robbery, smash and grab, and it was to the point that I was facing life in prison. And the judge said he'd give me one more chance.
One more chance is the last chance ranch. The final opportunity to go straight or go to prison.
Work your way down. This is an old-fashioned solution for modern-day delinquency.
The ranch is a private, non-profit facility supported by state funds.
You don't need to spend your money.
It's a place where the kids learn the meaning of family.
Father bless the students as they go out to do different jobs today.
And the importance of role models.
Amen. The kids learn every day how to be responsible, and they learn discipline, and they learn love.
17-year-old Steve, arrested more than 30 times, sees the value of hard work over hard time in jail.
They punish you, but they ain't telling you the right ways to do things. And here they taught me the right way.
They know how to do bad, but the difference is, you know, they need to see what's good also.
Sometimes they see that in unusual ways.
You know, horses are like the people, you know. They each have a different personality. You know, like you learn how to deal with them and you learn how to deal with your peers. Everybody makes mistakes when you're mad.
There is no idle time at the ranch. Even during meals, conversation turns to counseling.
Anger is the most powerful drug that I know. It's worse than cocaine, it's worse than pot, it's worse than anything. That's why you gotta learn to control it.
Offenders usually stay here about a year.
When you compare the cost of this to locking kids up, this is way cheaper.
It costs a third as much as traditional prison facilities. And the success rate for rehabilitation is higher. Of ranch graduates, only 45% repeat their crimes, compared to 60% of juveniles who are sent to other programs. 19-year-old Taurus Jones will graduate from high school next month. A product of Miami's mean streets, he spent almost a year and a half at the ranch before its influence turned him away from crime.
I want to go and learn the law because I always fought the law, and I was on the same side as the law.
Success stories like Taurus may mean more ranches in Florida's future. Criminal justice experts here and elsewhere are considering using it as a model for their systems. The Last Chance Ranch will not be the last of its kind. For America Close Up, Kinley Jones, NBC News, Venus, Florida.
When Nightly News continues, change stalks the Batcave.
Day one in the middle of nowhere. The meals have been superb. It's a good thing they have a fitness program aboard every Royal Caribbean ship. Maybe I'll work out tonight before dinner. Maybe I won't. There was something about the streamers at our Bon Voyage party that told me this is going to be the vacation of a lifetime.
You've got some Royal Caribbean coming.
Stop breathing dirty, dusty air. Make your home a cleaner, healthier place. Call a day and night dealer to the rescue for a day and night electronic air cleaner. It can remove 95% of the dust, dirt, and pollen in your air. And if you have pets or allergies, it can really help. So call Day and Night to the rescue for an electronic air cleaner and for energy-efficient heating and cooling systems.
Yeah, I looked at the BMW and the Lexus.
And?
I drove this. The power, the handling, the control. It was incredible. Really? It's got leather, ABS, dual airbags. It's even supercharged. I could have spent a lot more on the BMW or the Lexus. But why? What is this? The new Bonneville SSEI. Very nice.
6 for weeds. Roundup.
Why Centrum Silver? Because you're over 50 and you're just hitting your stride. Centrum Silver vitamins. Because the latest scientific research about changing nutritional needs after 50 is built in. Centrum Silver. It's a great time to be silver.
Tomorrow morning on Today, Charles Barkley uses a microphone to go one-on-one with Magic Johnson. Also, Whoopi Goldberg and Ted Danson. Join us tomorrow morning and see what a difference today makes.
You think you have a hard job? Try dressing up in tights and fighting crime for half a century. Mostly at night, lots of heavy lifting, and your office is a cave. It's back-breaking work. And as Mary Alice Williams reports, a leave of absence is in order, but you might not like that either.
Remember when might was always right and the bad guys got their just desserts? If superheroes once reflected the age of innocence, what are they reflecting today? Robin was blown to bits 4 years ago, Superman was killed 3 months ago, and today DC Comics has arranged for a steroid-pumped sociopath to snap Batman's spinal cord.
I think it's sad.
But boy, does it sell comics.
The sales have been through the roof.
Batman's editor, Denny O'Neil, was born the same year as Batman.
When a character has existed for 54 years, as Batman has 54 years this month, you got to shake him up every once in a while.
Shake him up, but break his back?
Yeah, and therefore give him a kind of adversity to overcome that he's never had before. That's what that's about. That's what a hero is.
Look, up in the sky, it's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
They don't make heroes like they used to.
For truth, justice, and the American way.
Things change.
Superheroes have become denizens of a city-turned-freak show.
Meow.
It's how we view life now. Today, everything is gloom and doom.
Batman will turn over his utility belt to a stand-in named Azrael. Superheroes never killed. This guy positively fillets people.
He does? So then how could he take over Batman?
Azrael may spend the 90s learning that justice at the end of a shiv is a two-edged sword, because replacing him may already be in the plot.
How do we know? Batman's about to learn that disability hasn't put a crimp in his detective skills. He's set to rescue a kidnapped neurosurgeon who happens to be a black woman with whom he may find restored mobility, true love, and the pleasures of hearth and home.
If Batman triumphs, we might even see other good guys use their minds more than their muscles. Anything can happen. It's the comics. Mary Alice Williams, NBC News, New York.
That's Nightly News for this Wednesday. I'm Stone Phillips. For all of us here